Shakespeare's Sonnet 129 is about what Stephen Booth calls the cycle of lust. There's this moment of bliss preceded by madness and then followed by despair. So madness, bliss, despair. This is the cycle of lust in this sonnet. But what's so interesting about this sonnet artistically is its schematics and how there's balance and repetition. And we're going to look at that especially here in this sonnet. Starting with the first quatrain. The expense of spirit in a waste of shame is lust in action, and till action, lust is perjured, murderous, bloody, full of blame, savage, extreme, rude, cruel, not to trust. I think here in most editions there is a semicolon, so we're going to put that here. It means that's completing the sense. You'll find some differences in punctuation depending on what version you're reading, but it really should be a semicolon. The expense of spirit. What does this mean? Spirit is another word for power or life. The expense of life in waste of shame is lust in action. So lust in action is the expense of life or shame. Talking about the moment of climax in sex. Wasted. This is also a pun on that. So that is lust in action. Until action, lust is perjured. Notice here we almost have a panallepsis where a line begins with the same word it ends with. Lust and lust. It's all about lust. Is perjured, murderous, bloody, full of blame. Here we're getting the madness of lust until it is fulfilled. That is, until in action it is fulfilled. This is what it is. It's perjured, meaning false to oaths, kind of unpredictable. Murderous, bloody, full of blame, savage, extreme. Now notice, we're in iambic pentameter this whole time, but notice what happens when you get the monosyllables. We have long syllables here, murderous, bloody, full of blame. Here's monosyllabics right here, full of blame, one syllable. Savage, extreme, rude, cruel, not to trust. It's quickening the pace as you read it. Not to trust. So while everything's in iambic pentameter, sometimes the poet will change the pace. Not all iambic pentameter is the same. And that's what he's doing here. Talking about the madness of lust till in action it is consummated. Still picking up on lust here in the second quatrain. Quatrain 1. Quatrain 2. Enjoyed no sooner, but despised straight. Past reason hunted. Is again the madness. Past reason hunted. And no sooner had past reason hated. As a swallowed bait, on purpose laid to make the taker mad. So as soon as it's enjoyed, it's immediately despised. Or despised to make it fit metrically in this line. Notice the repetition of past reason. This is called anaphora, the repetition of a phrase or a word at the beginning of successive lines or clauses. In this case, lines. On purpose laid to make the taker mad. It's like a bait that is hated. It's a trap. As soon as you take it, you're mad and you know it and you hate it. Mad in pursuit. Notice how this line begins with the same word at the end of the previous line. This is called anadiplosis. And anadiplosis is used by rhetoricians and poets to different effects. Herbert does it. John Donne will use it as well. Some of the great rhetoricians in the American tradition will do it. Here I think it's using a sense of overwhelmed, using it as a sense of being overwhelmed. It's overflowing with a kind of madness. The verse is enacting the madness in a way. On purpose laid to make the taker mad. Mad in pursuit, in possession so. Now notice this repetition. On purpose, in pursuit, in possession so. Had, having, and in quest to have, extreme. A bliss in proof and proved. A very woe. A bliss in proof and proved a very woe. Proof and proved. They're variations on the same root. This is called polyptyton, the repetition of words in different grammatical or in grammatical iterations or in tense. We call this polyptyton. And I think this is a type of polyptyton too. Had, having, and have. You notice this is the cycle. Before a joy proposed, behind a dream. So in looking to fulfill the action of lust, it seems like a joy proposed. In after its fulfillment, like a dream. And not a good dream, we see. And here he ends with a really snappy couplet. All this the world well knows, yet none knows well to shun the heaven that leads men to this hell. We have two figures here that it's not just the rhyme that makes this snap. It's the figure. We have what's called chiasmus, which is the repetition in reverse order of two or more things. In this case, world. Oh, no, in this case, well and knows. All this the world well knows, yet none knows well. So it's A, B, B, A. In some videos, I call this antimetaboly, because in some rhetoric textbooks, they will call this scheme antimetaboly. But sometimes they'll call it chiasmus. It's a type of chiasmus, I think. I think a true antimetaboly, the Greeks would say, is what we have right here, which is not this. This is what's going on here. Here we have a crisscross. To shun the heaven that leads men to this hell. So you notice it's not reflecting it in opposite order like we do in the chiasmus. Well knows, knows well. That's inverse order of the same two words. Here we have a pair of opposites. Shun and leads, and heaven and hell. So this is called an antimetaboly. Now some rhetoric textbooks, like I said, will get this mixed up, but in the Greek, anti means against, meta means a turn or opposite, and bole means to throw. So it's a throwing of an opposite against. And so that's how you know this is truly an antimetaboly. Although you'll sometimes see these two used interchangeably, defined as the same thing. But I think this is the right way to view it. So there we have it. He's saying here in this couplet that all knows how this is true. All knows that this is the cycle of lust, and that its fulfillment immediately is preceded, immediately is followed by regret, but none knows how to shun it. Anyway, it's a very artistically structured sonnet. I hope you're able to grasp a little bit of the sense of that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and until next time.